They thought they could turn Valentine's Day into a cheap little fairy tale. They thought the world would swoon. They thought nobody would dare interrupt their delusional love story. And then Jade Cargill walked in and shattered it like glass. On February 13th, 2026, on SmackDown, what was supposed to be a cute, cringy, candy-coated Valentine's moment between Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio turned into absolute humiliation, and the architect of that destruction was none other than Jade Cargill. And here's the real question. Was this just business? Or was this personal? Because what Jade did wasn't just an interruption. It was a statement. The arena lights dimmed. The ring was decorated with heart-shaped balloons, roses laid across the ropes, a little table in the center with candles flickering under the bright SmackDown lights. It looked less like a wrestling ring and more like a middle school dance, trying way too hard. And out came Liv Morgan, smiling, laughing, playing into the boos like she feeds off them. Right behind her, Dominik Mysterio, dressed like he was about to star in a low-budget romance commercial, carrying a bouquet of red roses that probably cost more than his credibility. Quick question for you. Do you think Dominik actually believes this romance stuff, or is he just playing a role to stay relevant? Let me know in the comments. Because the crowd was not buying it. Boos rained down like a storm. And you could see it on Liv's face. She loved it. She soaked it in like fuel. Dominik grabbed a mic first. He talked about true love. He talked about loyalty. He talked about how nobody understands them. And every word just made the audience louder. Because, let's be honest, when you build your entire persona around being hated, you can't suddenly expect people to clap for your Valentine's Day speech. Liv took the mic next. She leaned into Dominik's shoulder and started talking about how their love is unbreakable. How nobody backstage can touch them. How nobody in the women's division is on her level. And that right there was the mistake. Because when you say nobody can touch you, you better pray Jade Cargill isn't listening. And guess what? She was. The music hit, and the entire mood changed in an instant. You know that kind of pop where it's not just loud, it's electric? That's what happened when Jade Cargill's theme blasted through the arena. The roses suddenly didn't look romantic anymore. They looked fragile. Dominik's smirk faded. Liv's eyes widened. And walking down that ramp was a woman who doesn't need love angles, who doesn't need gimmicks, who doesn't need props. She just needs a ring. Let me ask you this. If Jade Cargill steps into any segment, does it automatically become must-watch? Because the energy shifted instantly. Jade walked slow, calculated, unbothered. She stepped into the ring without asking permission. Didn't touch the roses. Didn't acknowledge the decorations. She just stared. That silence? It was louder than Dominik's entire speech. Liv tried to talk first. She tried to laugh it off. "You're jealous," she said. Jealous? Of what? Of balloons? Of a man who gets booed louder than anyone in the building? Jade took the mic. And with just a few words, she torched the entire setup. She said Valentine's Day is about strength. About standards. About knowing your worth. And then she looked at Dominik. That look alone almost sent him retreating through the ropes. She told Liv that if this is what she calls unbreakable, she's about to test it. Now pause right there. Do you think Liv genuinely believes she can beat Jade one-on-one? Or is she hiding behind Dominik? Be honest. Because what happened next made one thing crystal clear. Jade wasn't there for conversation. Liv slapped her. Yes. In front of everyone. You could hear the gasp. The crowd went from booing to absolute shock. And for a split second, it looked like Liv regretted it. Because Jade didn't flinch. Not even a little. She slowly turned her head back. And smiled. Not a friendly smile. The kind of smile that says, "You just made the worst mistake of your night." Dominik stepped in front of Liv like he was going to protect her. Let's be real. Protect her from Jade Cargill? That's like standing in front of a freight train with a paper shield. Jade shoved Dominik aside. Not aggressively. Not wildly. Just enough to remind him he's not built for this. And the crowd exploded. Now here's something interesting. Why do you think Dominik always inserts himself into Liv's battles? Is it love or insecurity? Drop your answer below. Because Liv didn't get long to think. Jade grabbed her, lifted her, and delivered a spine-shaking slam right in the middle of the rose-covered mat. Petals flew everywhere. Candles tipped over. The romantic table collapsed. It was symbolic. Every single decoration that represented their little fairy tale got destroyed. Dominik tried to pull Jade off. That earned him a stare so intense he backed up immediately. And that's when Jade did something that really made this segment unforgettable. She picked up the bouquet of roses, looked at them, looked at Liv, and snapped them in half. Slowly, right in front of Dominik. Tell me that wasn't cold. Because that wasn't just physical dominance. That was psychological warfare. Liv tried to crawl away. Jade wasn't done. She pulled her back to the center of the ring, hoisted her up, and delivered her finishing move with authority, right through the Valentine's table, which shattered. Hearts flew everywhere, and the camera caught Dominik's face. Shock. Embarrassment. Helplessness. You know what made it worse? He didn't even try to fight back. He just checked on Liv while Jade stood tall over the wreckage. Now, answer this. Did Jade go too far? Or was this exactly what Liv deserved? Because this wasn't random. This wasn't accidental. This was calculated. Jade has been building momentum for months. Every time someone questions her dominance, she answers with force. And on the night before Valentine's Day, she chose violence. The commentary team didn't even know what to say. They tried to frame it as chaos. But was it chaos? Or was it a power move? Liv Morgan has built her recent persona around manipulation, drama, emotional chaos. Dominik thrives in controversy. So what happens when someone doesn't play the game? Someone who doesn't care about love stories. Someone who doesn't care about crowd narratives. Someone who only cares about dominance. You get this. You get destruction. And the most interesting part? Jade didn't scream.
She didn't rant.
She didn't insult. She just stood there.
Calm.
Unshaken. Almost disappointed. Like she expected more from Liv. Let's talk about that for a second. Liv Morgan is known for resilience. She's taken punishment before. She's bounced back. She shocked the world. But against Jade? It looked different. It looked like a mismatch. Do you think WWE is building toward a major pay-per-view clash between them? Or was this just a warning shot? Because if this becomes a full rivalry, we might be looking at one of the most physically intense feuds of 2026. Dominik's involvement complicates everything. You know he won't let this go. You know he'll try to interfere. But here's the thing, every time he steps in, he looks smaller next to Jade. And perception matters. This segment didn't just hurt Liv physically. It damaged the image. The illusion of control. The illusion of romance. The illusion that they run SmackDown. Because on February 13th, 2026, SmackDown belonged to Jade Cargill. And if you paid attention closely, there was a deeper layer to this. Valentine's Day is supposed to represent love, unity, softness. Jade represents power, independence, intimidation. This wasn't just wrestler versus wrestler. It was symbolism. Softness versus strength. Drama versus dominance. Which side are you on? Team Liv and Dominik? Or Team Jade? Type it in the comments. But don't just pick emotionally, think strategically. Who actually benefits from this chaos? Because controversy creates clicks. Moments like this trend. Moments like this go viral. And you already know this clip is going to circulate everywhere. People will debate it for weeks. Was Jade justified? Was Liv disrespectful? Did Dominik look weak? And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. The women's division just got a serious shakeup. If Jade is targeting Liv, that means championship implications aren't far behind. You don't dismantle someone on live television without making a bigger move.